Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation. This is your host, Lorraine Ball, and I'm hanging out with two of my favorite people today, fellow podcasters, Lisa Michelle and Jen Edds. Jen Edds. I always screw her name up. It's only 4 letters, and all the years I've known her, I can still not get it right. But it doesn't mean she's not my favorite person. And we are debriefing today because we had a little fun last week. What did we do, ladies?
My take on it, if I were to summarize it, would be we brought an idea to life, like the 3 of us had. We actually got it out of the group chat and out of the coffee house and into a room that also included a whole crew of brilliant women who podcast and have been podcasting. It's not people thinking about ideas. It's people that are living it, breathing it, doing it, producing it every day. And my takeaway was, wow, like we have a lot of brilliant people who have figured out a way to amplify not only their voice, but the voices of other people with great stories to tell and great tools to share.
Absolutely. And you do that so well. You're so good on the wrap up. Jen, you've been doing this probably as long or longer than any of us. You were the person who said to me, I don't even know how many years ago it was, that you were going to create a business running podcasting. And I looked at you and went, really? Do you have a fallback plan?
Oh, yeah, I was going to be a musician. I mean, 2 very, very stable career choices.
Both of which you are.
Both of which. But for you, because you've been doing it longer than any of us, was this still a learning experience to hang out in a room with other podcasters?
Oh, definitely. Because everybody brings a different experience to it, kind of a different flavor. They've got different shows, they have different workflows. And I think to have such a diverse range of types of shows and workflows was so good because I picked up quite a few things that I was like, oh, I really need to try that now and see if that's something that's going to work for me and make my life easier.
I loved when we first started talking about this idea that we would like do it in person, that it wouldn't be virtual. We weren't going to record it. It was just going to be stuff that we captured in the moment. And I was really excited about some of the things I learned. Maybe the big one for me, and you know, as a marketer to have to confess this, but one of the big ones for me is pick one thing and go all in. What do you think? What was your big takeaway?
Yeah, well, Lorraine, I'll tell you, like I was telling someone earlier today, kind of debriefing about the event, and that was they helped me do my marketing, and I shared that, right? Like, let's go. This is the one CTA that we're going to put across platforms. This is where we want everyone to go. One thing, one place. So I took a very similar takeaway of getting really strategic and targeted. And I mean, I have a whole notebook page, but I'm going to kick it to Jen before I go off on my little tangent of nuggets I picked up here.
One of my big takeaways, and I think, Lorraine, I think this actually came from you, was about using carousels on Instagram and then turning them into a video in Canva. I didn't even know that you could do that in Canva. So I can't wait to try that. I loved that we kicked the conference. I love that we kicked the session off with what's something that you've screwed up in podcasting. And everyone was more than willing to like share something that they did, a mistake that they had made along the way. And there was a lot of, I think, nodding heads like, oh yeah, you're not the only one. But just people's willingness to really share what was working or what hadn't worked or what they messed up. That was really one of my favorite things about the day.
Yeah, I agree. I love the candor of and the humor, frankly, of we've all kind of made the same mistakes. It just came in a slightly different flavor. And that's reassuring to me because I never feel like I know what I'm doing, no matter how long I'm doing it. So it was like, oh, okay, like this isn't, this isn't catastrophic. This is just part of when you try something new and you create something, you're going to make some messes. So I love that perspective of it. And I think one of the things I really loved was the willingness to challenge and being able to say, if somebody was like, oh, this is something or how I do it or the best way to do it, right? Then you got an alternative way to look at it or an alternative tool to use. And it was just one of the, I think, most respectful and informative, I won't even call it discourse, right? Just really like it's what healthy conversations should be. And being able to exchange points of view and challenge each other in a way that wasn't to be like, oh, well, I know more. There was like not an ounce of competition or ego, I think, in that room at all. And that led to some amazing just sharing and challenging and feeling safe enough to ask questions about things that you might feel silly about not knowing or feel like, oh, I should have already had this figured out. And there wasn't any, I didn't get an ounce of that at all, of any type of challenge or being like, oh, well, they don't know what they're doing or like there was zero of that. And it was so refreshing.
It was so much fun to sit there because there were a couple of women whose shows I've listened to for a long time who I'd never met. I chat with them on LinkedIn. And so I feel like I know them, but to really get a chance to get to know them. And I think that was one of the beauties of making a decision to make this a mostly local event. We did have people that traveled in, but that we created a local event. And I think that's a blueprint that other marketers and other podcasters around the country should look at is don't look for an invite to our event. I mean, I'm happy to have you if you want to come, but don't look for an invite to our event. Create your own and, ask, invite people you don't know, because there were some people in the room that none of us, I think, knew starting out. So
yeah, I agree. Sorry. I know we're also polite. We're such polite interview hosts, right? That we create space, which I love. We're taking our own medicine here, but no, I agree. I think it was to your point, it's a lot of people that I was familiar with, some I've been friends with for years, some I just met at the day. And I feel like it was really, we did a good job, I think, to the way the event was designed and organized is that you didn't have to come in fully credentialed. Like you didn't have to prove that you deserved to be in the room. It was, we made an invitation, you accepted it, you made the effort to show up, come as you are. And I think it just led to a much quicker level of connection and disclosure than maybe you would get if it had been a big formal, credentialized, show us your resume kind of gatekeep to get in the door.
That, and we didn't waste an hour introducing ourselves because it was a 4-hour tight program. Come in, let's talk. And so to have 15 people or 14 people go around the room and, hi, I've been in podcasting so many years, blah, 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 blah. We didn't need that because we already had that information out available. And I think that was one of my favorite things is when people walked in the room, I knew who they were. Jen, if somebody else was going to do this, closing thought, what advice would you give them?
I really liked the format that we had for this first one of kind of opening it up and voting on what topics were most relevant to the people in the room. I think it felt like such a luxury to be able to kind of cater to the experience level. And like we said, there was a vast array of experience and types of shows, but really opening that up and letting people vote on it and then picking the topics from there and then seeing how those topics kind of transitioned into other topics over the course of the conversation. I think for the first time out, that was a great way to do it rather than having a very set agenda. I feel like it was more inviting to do it that way. So I recommend that format.
I loved it. I love the open agenda. I think there may come a time, because we do want to do this again. And if you missed the first Talk Beyond the Mic, reach out if you think you want an invite to the second one. We're going to give preference to the people that were in the room first, but there might be a spot for you. But Lisa, what would you change for next time?
I think, well, I'll start with what I loved about this time. I agree that the open format was great. And I think doing a little bit of pre-work to ask, what do you want this experience to feel like? What does make it worthwhile for you to drive, to take a half day or to drive a couple hours and contribute to a group of women you primarily don't know? I think we did a good job of setting expectations, casting the vision of how we wanted the event to look and feel, and allowing them to help co-create it with us. Like it felt like very co-created, even in real time, but we did a good job of framing it up ahead of time. I think maybe I don't know that I would change anything, but I think what I want to make sure we do is that we keep the momentum. Like we share the resources, we create that ongoing learning. It's great. I have 14 new people that I can call or email or ask a question of that I would feel zero hesitation. And I want to make sure that we continue to kind of crowdsource those best practices and expand on the conversations, because there were so many on the board that we didn't get to go deep on that I still want to talk about and know about. So I think just creating that ongoing community between events is something I really hope that we execute well on.
Absolutely. So we could talk forever about this, but I think I'm going to put a pin in it here, and I'm going to leave you in the audience wanting maybe a little bit more. If you want to know a little bit about Talk Beyond the Mic, you can go to talkbeyondthemic.com and kind of get a sense of where we started. Be sure to tag it and check back and say hello to us on LinkedIn. Jen, Lisa, any parting notes?
I'm just happy to connect, and I can't wait to June when we get to collaborate and get in the same space again, and all of our time. The biggest joy is getting to work with you two ladies and bringing this vision to life. I'm super proud of us for getting it out of the Google Drive and the group chat and making it happen. So just keeping the momentum for me is what I'm focused on.
I'm also looking forward to the next one.
Me too, but I'm also looking forward to maybe coffee in April before I hit the road so we can have one more planning session.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Awesome. Well, if you have enjoyed this conversation, if you want to find other conversations, be sure to look for More Than a Few Words, but also, Jen, what should they look for?
The Brassy Broadcast.
I'm heading up the Divorce Curious show.
Awesome. Well, there will be links to those and all of the shows from our attendees for the first conversation. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.